I look red.
Hello, everybody. This is Fernando Pettineroli, listing agent with Desert Platinum Live in openhousemiami.us in YouTube and also in Open House Miami in live Facebook in a very rare day that probably none of us ever thought getting to see, with the markets down, with the real estate market almost into a halt, closing still happening, banks still finishing to lend. There is non-stop, and title insurance continue to provide title, so we're still closing. We don't know until when, but of course the last days have been like a crazy run, a crazy race almost for all of us. And these are the moments in we need more than our own gut, more than our own feeling or the image that we have of previous crises in our lives. Is maybe time to talk to somebody that knows best and reads the numbers in a technical way. So that's why I invited Jack McCabe. Jack, how are you? Welcome to the show. How are you doing?
Thank you, Fernando. I'm doing okay, my friend, as good as can be expected. How are you?
Very good, Jack. Thank you for taking time for us. I know you're in Mexico, right? In
Cabo San Lucas.
In Cabo San Lucas.
Hey, amigo.
As you guys know, Jack is one of the very few that predicted with a long time in advance the 2008 crisis. When nobody was listening, Jack was there talking. And I had the pleasure to meet him here about 2 years ago, here in the same office I'm right now, in Residences by Armani Casa, and listening to him. And I remember our talk was basically, when will be the next crisis? And here we are together again, Jack, seeing each other. What is your first feeling about what is going on the market right now? What is your first impression?
Well, Fernando, I think right now we're in a recession. It will not be declared for 6 months, as the definition of a recession is 2 consecutive quarters of negative gross domestic product. There's no doubt, with everything being shut down, that we've already entered a recession. Now, this is affecting everyone, everywhere, not just in South Florida or the United States, but all across the globe. There's over 120 countries now that are being affected by coronavirus. So it's unprecedented. I'm 65 years old. I have never seen anything like this in my lifetime, and I'm sure no one else has either. It's hard to project what's going to happen. All we can look at the numbers right now. The stock market is down by 33%. Oil prices have dropped by 60%. They're now down to $20 a barrel. It takes about $50 a barrel to break even. Oil supplies, everything is filled. The oil that they're pumping right now, there's no place to put it. You could make a strong case that the oil being pumped right now has zero value. And we know that consumerism, which drives 70% of the United States gross domestic product, has been placed on hold. People are battening down the hatches now. We're out of bread, we're out of toilet paper, we're out of water at most all our grocery stores. Restaurants only being allowed to handle takeout or delivery. Layoffs everywhere. I-95, I has no doubt, is not the gridlock that it normally is, because people are staying home. And the big question is, what's going to happen next? How is this going to affect my family? Am I going to have a job in 2 weeks? Am I going to be able to pay my rent or my mortgage payment? Am I going to be able to buy the property at Armani or anywhere else? Because I don't know if I'm going to have the money now or the security to be able to do it. So we're in an extremely difficult, desperate time right now. It's very hard to project what will happen, because if it was just an economic crisis, we can look at numbers and we can prognosticate. We can say, based on what's happened in the past, we think this will happen in the future. We can't do this with this coronavirus because we don't know how serious it's going to be a month from now, 2 months from now. So it's hard to project, and I just want to give my best wishes to everybody out in your audience right now.
Obviously, this is something that none of us ever lived in our living time, and I have the impression that the human element will be extremely important this time, right? Like how people will react to not having access to money or something like that. How do you see it?
Well, I think the older generation, my generation, the baby boomers, are the most scared and the most freaked out because we know that we are the most in danger, especially those that have some type of breathing or pre-existing condition. So I think the baby boomers are taking this extremely seriously, and they're staying home. They're staying isolated. They're not getting close to other people. The ones that I worry about are the millennials. We're seeing scenes of right now on the beaches and out in the clubs together because they feel they're the least at risk. And even if they do get it, it probably won't be serious. But they don't realize that they are carriers. They're not just being affected themselves, they can affect so many other people, possibly their parents, possibly their grandparents, or anybody older that they get within a close proximity to. So I'm worried that the millennials are not taking this seriously enough. Other than that, I don't think I've ever seen the United States come together so well to fight this, and everybody do their part, even if it just means staying at home and keeping your hands washed and not touching your face and not coming close to other people within 6 feet, as the doctors have warned us. So that's what scares me the most, is that the millennials are not taking this seriously enough and realize that not can they just be affected, but they can affect so many others.
We are facing right now closing the last transactions of the week, and we don't know for how long this will be able to happen. People that is thinking everything, basically, I believe everything is into freeze mode right now, right? Like nobody will take any decision neither to sell or to buy for a long time. But I see people with money, so because we are still receiving calls in listings, I can observe that it's people that probably had a chance to leave the stock market when it was at 28, 27, and today they have a substantial amount of cash. They're really using it well, looking for bargains. Where the market is going in a crisis like this one, I know it's hard to predict, and I know it's hard for you to compromise an answer, but your gut, what is telling you that where are we going in 2 months from today? I know you're avoiding to say, but I understand that. But what we're supposed to look at?
Well, as you know, most of my clients are developers and lenders. Yep. Many of them tend to not be happy with me when I speak what I believe is the truth, so I'm probably going to upset some folks again. Okay. I think that we're headed for bargains. I think that we're going to see some substantial drops in prices because we have already in the new condominiums in South Florida, we have an oversupply, especially in the $1 million and up condominiums alongside the ocean and the intercoastal waterway. And while we've seen New Yorkers, New Jersey, Connecticut, Massachusetts, Illinois, people that are flooding out of the Northeast and the Midwest because of the tax situation since the new tax code was passed. they haven't made up for all the Latin American buyers that we have had in the past several years that now have exited the market. So I think that all the new construction was based on Latin American buyers continuing to buy. That's not happening anymore. And while we're seeing an influx from the Northeast United States and from Canada, particularly Montreal province, Quebec province, they're not making up for the Latin American buyers that have exited. So we have a lessening demand. We've had an increasing supply. Just simple market dynamics means that prices tend to come down. Now, because of this coronavirus, I think we're going to see many people attempting to cancel their contracts. Now, I think we will see other buyers enter the market, but they're not going to be willing to pay full price. These are going to be the vultures or the opportunistic buyers that have cash, and they know at times like this, cash talks. So I think that we're going to see prices come down. They already have by simple market dynamics over the last year. We know that many developers are offering different types of concessions and incentives for buyers. They're offering increased commissions to real estate brokers to bring them a buyer. As high as 8 and 10% sometimes now, when normal is 3%. So I think we're going to continue this downward trend. And in real estate, things don't happen as quickly as they do in the stock market. We may see, once this is over, the stock market come back up very sharply. For real estate, it'll be a slower process. So I think we're going to see, we could see 25, 30% or larger drops in real estate values. And then it take a period of time for that to come back up. But just like we had crashes in the financial crisis and the Great Recession, where prices went down in some properties 50% or more, all those properties have come back up to value. So what it means is there's going to be some great opportunities for buyers in the future to take advantage of a very unfortunate and disastrous time in our lives, but still to do very well on their real estate purchases. Now, how quickly that happens, it's just too soon to tell.
Too soon to tell. Yeah, actually, the calls I'm also receiving are investors right now. They're ready to jump into those deals. I know it's going to happen. Nothing will stop it, and we will keep operating on that. I have a question on YouTube. One of our brokers, Sonia Eckstein. Hi, Fer, Jack. I have a question. Obviously, all industries are being affected with what is currently going on, but how will commercial real estate be affected, in your opinion?
That's a great question, Sonia. And I think that one of the things that we're seeing the government do right now is they've stopped evictions, they've stopped foreclosures on residential, but they know that commercial property owners are also being dramatically affected. So I know that President Trump, in his news broadcast earlier today, talked about helping commercial real estate owners in the future. So I expect there will be, I don't want to call it a bailout, but some type of stimulus or some type of funds to help commercial owners in this time, because they're not going to be allowed to foreclose or to evict tenants for a long period of time, even if they don't have any funds coming in, and then they're at risk of losing their properties. So I really expect that the government is going to the best they can, offer some type of package for commercial real estate owners. Now, for commercial brokers, just like residential brokers, this is going to be a difficult time coming up. Sales are going to go down. And when you're on straight commission, as most commercial brokers are, it could be disastrous. So hopefully, during these good times of the last few years, they put away some of those increased earnings that they've had and saved for a rainy day. No one expected a situation like this, but this is times where if you budget it well, it will be greatly to your benefit. And if you decided to spend all the additional money that you made and increase your bills, this is going to be a very tough time coming up for you. Because while these packages will help, it will only help for a short period of time. And you are not going to be relieved of having to pay what you owe. You eventually are going to have to pay it. You'll just be giving some additional time. So you better have the funds when that time comes.
I have another question online. In the meanwhile, while I process that, I wanted to ask you, do you believe that we will see a disappearance of buyers, basically like the lack of ability to prove income, or if people are going to lose their jobs and might force to disappear a large amount of buyers that might be on the market right now?
Yes, I think we will. I don't think there's any doubt. People are not allowed to travel. While some people are comfortable buying real estate online without actually touching, seeing, feeling it for themselves, the vast majority of people are not. They want to know that property. They want to go in. They want to find out if there's any inherent problems that are not obvious over the internet. So when you don't have potential buyers coming to see your properties, then obviously it's going to mean fewer sales. And when those potential buyers, now the ones who are very well heeled, who have done well in the stock market, like Fernando intimated, those are the ones that they'll still be buyers, but they're going to be looking for discounts, which obviously is going to push prices down as well. So yes, I think that we're looking at hard times ahead. I mean, there's no getting around this. We're going to see sales drop substantially from where they have been over the past several years. There's no getting around it. I mean, that's reality. The question is, how long is this going to last? And nobody has the answer to that yet.
Are we at a danger of a new spike in foreclosure, like in 08?
We are, but thankfully the government is stepping in, at least for the next few months, and is going to prevent people from being foreclosed on and prevent evictions. That's a good thing, and that's very necessary right now. But that can only happen for a short period of time. The government cannot keep funding or giving people stimulus to pay rent and pay bills with. If you get 3 or 4 months behind on your rent and you don't have the money when things get better, you're going to get thrown out. And if you don't have the money for your mortgage payment, then you're going to have a foreclosure. Now, chances are when these things start happening again, there's going to be such a backlog that it's going to take an extended period of time. So during the financial crisis, we saw where in South Florida, it was taking 2 years to foreclose on people. We may see that same kind of situation again, simply because there's going to be such a large backlog of people that have lost their jobs, have gone without income, are now 4, 5, 6 months behind, possibly on their mortgage payments, and they don't have money saved up to come up with that kind of cash. So yes, we are going to see a spike in foreclosures. That will definitely happen. That'll present other buying opportunities for those opportunistic, just like the last financial crisis we had, where hopefully it'll be more individuals this time, and it won't be large corporations like BlackRock and Colony Capital that buy the majority of these homes and realize the substantial increases in value that have gone on since 2012.
Exactly. I'm going to questions online for Jack. I'm with Jack McCabe, one of the top analysts for real estate in the country, today with us in Open House Miami. Another question online Hello, Fernando and Jack. I jumped on the call late. How do you think the real estate market will be affected for single-family residential rehab investors with ARVs under 400,000?
That's a great question. I think that the market 400,000 and under is probably going to be the quickest to rebound, is going to be the strongest once things turn around, because that's where the majority of population can afford. Most people can't afford $1 million property. It's a very small percentage that can. But in South Florida, you could make a case that 400,000 is really just about the median price. So yes, so I think that there's going to be, once this is over, we're going to see people migrate to Florida again. I mean, this is definitely going to put a stop to that happening for a while, right? But once it's over, we're going to see the migration to Florida come back. In recent times, we've been averaging 800 people a day, over 300,000 people per year moving to the state. It's been the fastest growing state of anywhere in the United States. Correct. And I expect that will continue because there are so many tax advantages on top of the weather and on top that it's paradise. So, I expect that will happen, but in the lower price range, in 200,000 to 400,000, I think is really the sweet spot of the market. And that will be a good place to be. And if you're a single family rehabber, then I think you're going to do well again. But expect that you're going to have an interruption in the gravy train for a while, and hopefully not too long a period of time.
Jack McCabe with us live from Mexico. More questions from the public online. This one is from Demian Pak, one of our brokers too. How do you see the multifamily sector, classes V and C, Jack? I see good fundamentals as there is unsatisfied demand and not enough units. If you agree, in which areas do you see an advantage?
Well, I do agree. And I think he's absolutely right. They're underserved. We've had growing population, but we've had a static Class B and C market because everything new that's been built has been Class A. The land prices have been so high, construction materials have shot up, labor has increased in cost. So the only way for developers to pencil out a profit has been with luxury properties, whether it's apartment rentals or whether it's new condominiums, new single-family homes. So we've had all this new inventory built for a very small portion of the population, and yet we've continued to have this in-migration with no additional new supply. So I think that there's going to be tremendous opportunities in the B and C fields, and I think that's going to be a very sweet spot.
Talking about multifamily, I'm thinking that probably the people that is investing in Airbnb might be seriously shocked on this, right? If they're expecting a return.
Absolutely. I mean, even down here in Mexico, and I'm in Cabo San Lucas, I'm working on a hotel resort project right now. Everyone is seeing cancellations. The hotels are all seeing cancellations. The cruise ships are no longer in the bay every day as they normally are. Even the golf courses are seeing cancellations down here. So this is a worldwide effect, and most of those normally would be coming from America or from Canada. So I think that, it's going to, I wish I had a crystal ball like everyone does that says that we're going to turn the corner on this in 2 months or in 3 months. And it depends on who you listen to. Most of the mayors that I hear talking are saying they expect their schools to be closed the rest of the semester. They don't expect kids are going to go back until after summer. And yet when you listen to the more optimistic, they think that maybe within a month we'll be turning the corner and there will be fewer and fewer infections and deaths from this. So it just depends on how long it takes.
I'm thinking, I was listening to you, and at the same time, like trying to think how long this could be, but you say it's impossible to tell. Maybe until an antivirus, or we have the antivirus inside of our body, and this will be over,
Well,
once and for all.
That's the problem with the novel viruses. And this is maybe what a lot of people don't understand. They're like, why is this such a big deal? Flu kills so many more people. Well, it's because flu has passed from person to person. This started with animals and then was passed to humans. Now, what that means is our immune system, while it's used to flu and while you can get a flu shot or you're exposed to other people, you build up a tolerance. But when it comes from an animal like this, your immune system has nothing to fight it with. And so the potential for massive, for it being spread massively is much stronger than the flu, and the potential for killing more people is much stronger because we don't have vaccines. We don't have anything to really help us at this point. There's nothing that can turn the corner. If you get the flu, you can go get Tamiflu, and that helps and it shortens. But with this, there's nothing you can get. So we don't know how long the infections are going to keep spreading from this. And hopefully, with all the scientists and doctors that we have working on it, they will come up with some type of remedy and hopefully a vaccine against it in the future. But right now, it could be 2 months. It could be 18 months. We really don't know.
I was talking today with one of our investors in Israel, and he was commenting about the fact that hedge fund managers are in the middle of a rain of margin calls, having to bring back cash to cover their accounts. And I was thinking that probably that will put that market also out of circulation for a while, right?
Absolutely, and you're right. Many of them are getting hit with margin calls right now, and because they're so heavily leveraged, they don't have the cash to make their margin calls. That's going to put a lot of them out of business. We're going to see airlines go out of business, despite the bailout that helps them. We're still going to see some that are heavily leveraged go out of business. We're going to see some hotel chains go out of business. We're going to see companies in many different industries that will not survive this. And it means that there will be more consolidation in the future. It also means that there will be distressed buying opportunities in many different industries as well. So if you do have money, as the saying goes, keep your powder dry, because there's going to be some great opportunities in the near future. If you don't have money right now, this is a very, very trying and difficult time. And I can only give you my best wishes.
Thank you so much, Jack. Thank you for joining us today. Jack McCabe, a super A1 expert on real estate, giving us this half an hour of your inputs. I really, really appreciate it. I hope we can have you more often, Jack. It's so good to have your wisdom coming,
Well, thank you, Fernando. I appreciate that. And I hope I didn't discourage too many people. We'll get through this. I'm a big believer in the American spirit and the American people. We'll get through this. Just do everything you can to keep yourself safe and to keep all your loved ones, friends, and family safe.
Thank you so much, Jack. Jack McCabe, exclusive today in Open House Miami in our English version. A real pleasure to have some wisdom, some inputs in a moment that we all need it. Live from Mexico, from Cabo. Thank you, Jack. See you soon.
Thank you, Fernando.
Take care, my friend. Thank you for joining us. Open House Miami. We'll be back tomorrow, hopefully at 6 p.m. I am Fernando Pettineroli, listing agent with Desert Platinum from our office in Sunny Isles Beach. It was a pleasure to have Jack today. Really necessary to have his input in a moment of the market that everything is going in an unknown direction. Last news I see, Senate passes coronavirus relief plan. Hopefully it will help. So I meet you tomorrow. Thank you for joining us. Have a great night and be in peace with your family. Protect yourselves and va a pasar. Bye.